What's up, guys? It is Vindicated Soul with another video for you guys today. This one's going to be a quick little lesson. Well, maybe not quick, but it'll be a medium-ish length long video on just about 6-7 chords. Looking at them right now, it's maybe like 8. So with the G, we're going to start with the G chord. So the way a G chord works is you're going to place your middle finger on the 6th string on the 3rd fret. I'll give you a quick overview real fast. If you don't know, the strings go from down to up as far as like numerical. So this string is going to be 6, and then it's just going to work its way down. So it's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if I say, play this string, if I say play 2, this is the string that you're going to be looking at, and then just look for the fret that I tell you to play it on. So we're going to start here with the G. So it's going to start here with your middle finger. It's going to be on the 3rd fret on the 6th string. So it's going to be this note right here. And then you're going to have your index finger on the next string down, which is string 5, and it's going to be on the 2nd fret, and it's going to be this note right here. Then we're going to skip all but the last 2 strings, or I should say the first 2 strings. So here on strings 1 and 2, you're going to take your ring finger. Your ring finger is going to go on the 2nd string on the 3rd fret in line with your middle finger here, and then your pinky is also going to go on the same fret but on the 1st string. And so if you did that right, it should sound like that. One common thing that I do notice a lot of new people making is that they tend to want to have their thumbs all the way up here, and that doesn't give your fingers a very good arch. So make sure that your thumb is relatively center to the back of the neck, maybe even a little bit more towards the bottom, as if you were holding it like this. It does help give you that angle that you might need, especially for people with smaller hands like I have. I kind of need to make sure that I always have that thumb in check. Otherwise, my chords will get muted. So I'll be muting strings with my fingers inadvertently. So, make sure you're doing that. Okay, so the next chord we're going to be learning here is a C chord, and it looks like this. So, your 6th string is going to be open, just open E. You're just going to be playing it like that. We're going to move down to the 5th string, and that one's going to be played on the 3rd fret with your ring finger. Then you're going to move down 1 more string with your middle finger on the 2nd fret, like so, and that's going to go here. And then you're going to skip the next string. That one's going to be open, and you're going to go to the 2nd string, and you're going to place your index finger on that one. So this one's a little bit maybe tricky because you have to make sure that you're arching enough to leave that middle-ish note open. That way it plays, and it should sound... Well, actually, you're not playing the E either, so you're starting on the 5th string all the way down for this chord. So it's going to sound like this. Or it should sound like that. Okay, we only have, let's see, a couple more chords until I start getting into the slash chords. Well, a few more. So we're going to move, let's keep speeding along here. So now we're going to go into a D chord, which looks like this. And the way it is played is you do not play your 6th and 5th string for this chord. You start on the 4th string and you work your way down as far as like strumming. So you're going to start on the 3rd string on the 2nd fret, so with your index finger like this. Then you're going to skip the string with your middle finger, go down to the 1st string, and you're going to play that on the 2nd fret as well. So you should have those 2 sounds, more or less. And then you're going to place your ring finger in between here on the 2nd fret on the next fret down. So it should sound like this if you have it all right. Okay, now we're going to get into some minor chords here. We have 3 of them, and then we're going to finish up with one random chord and then a slash chord. So let's start with E minor. This one's pretty easy. So for this one, you are going to play your open E, but you're going to start here on the 5th string, next one down, and you're going to be playing these 2 notes on the same fret. They're just going to be 1 string apart. So here with your middle finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret is going to be where that finger goes, and it should have this tone. Then with your ring finger, you're going to go down a string, but you're going to stay on the same fret. So you should have those 2 notes. And that's all there is. And then you're playing everything else open, so it should sound like this. All right, next one is A minor. This one, you're gonna be not playing the E string. It'll be shown on the diagram there. You're starting here on the 5th string as far as playing, and where your fingers are positioned for this one is starting with your middle finger. It's gonna go on the 4th string on the 2nd fret, like so. Then next you're gonna place your ring finger on the 3rd string, next one down, on the 2nd fret also. You should have these 2 notes. And then with your index finger, you're going to be playing that one on the 1st fret on the 2nd string, this note right here. And then the whole strum starting here on the 5th string should sound like this. Okay, I might have mentioned a chord that is a little bit difficult to play. I don't remember, but I like the chords that we have here because there's a little bit of variety. And this one is one of the chords that you will need to learn eventually. If you get frustrated with it now, if you're fairly new, don't worry about it. Just focus on building your strength with those other chords, and then you can come back to this one later. If you think you're ready to take on this challenge, this is what's called a bar chord. It's not spelled B-A-R, it's spelled B-A-R-R-E, which to me, doesn't make sense because you're literally using your finger as a bar, essentially, to kind of, go across multiple strings. I don't know why they spelled it like that, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So this is going to be a B minor. Now, here's a good way to think about it. This is an A minor. Now, granted, I have my finger switched. If you can memorize where you play an A minor, try and switch that with your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers to play with those, and then really all you're doing from there is you're sliding them down 2 frets while keeping them in the same position, and then you're basically taking your index finger and you are pressing down all of these strings that it's on with the fret that it's on. Granted, it's only going to be affecting the ones that you aren't already playing on, but it makes it easier instead of trying to play the whole thing. And plus, you have to play this first note on the 5th fret as well as like the last one. So you kind of have to bar this one. Some of them you can cheat, but not this one. So if you do this one correctly, it should sound like this. And I didn't do that one correctly. That last one was a little bit fuzzy. It should sound like that. These take a lot of practice, a lot of strength on your hand. Biggest thing also with these is make sure that your thumb is basically directly in the center behind the neck. If you have your thumb too high, it's going to make playing bar chords much, much more difficult, if not impossible. This is a key chord to make sure that you are sticking with your fundamentals and making sure that that thumb is either in the middle or even further down. Otherwise, you will not be able to play this chord without hitting a bunch of muted strings and pings and tangs all over the place. Okay, so now we're going to move into... This is a random one. It's actually fairly simple. If you remember that C that I taught you how to play, this is called a C added ninth. Basically, all you're doing for a C added ninth is you're taking your same C pattern that you have from your basic C chord, and all you're doing is you're just removing your middle finger. So it's just going to be the 2 notes that are played with your ring and index finger. So this is a C chord, and this is a C added 9. I know it doesn't sound too different, but trust me, whenever you're listening to the song, if you're listening to a song that has this, it does change the dynamic a little bit. Okay, now we are down to our last 2 chords, which are called slash chords. I do know the theory behind this, for guitar anyways. I think it's different for keyboard or bass, but the way you read these slash chords is you're basically playing the chord that is on the left, but you're making the bass or the root note the one that's on the right. So let's start with the C, since we were just doing that one. So you take your C here. Now if you know about your guitar, you'll know that this 5th string is an A, so you know that if you play the next fret here, that's an A sharp, and then this is a B. So basically, this finger, you're gonna have to change your finger positioning a little bit for this one. It's gonna be very similar to an A minor pattern. What you're gonna do is for this one, you're going to leave your index finger where it's at, and you're going to reposition your middle and ring finger. So what you're gonna do is, your middle finger is actually gonna move up to the string that your ring finger's on, from here to here on the 2nd fret, and then your ring finger is just gonna come behind it on the 4th string on the same fret, and it should sound like this. So this is a C, and this is a C over B, or C/B. And like I said before, if you are listening to a song where it does play this, if you actually listen to the song, it does change the dynamic, it does make a difference on the way that it produces the sound. Okay, this last chord here is the last slash chord. Now this one is not going to be the same concept necessarily as the last one, because we're not necessarily going to be keeping this D pattern. It is a little bit more difficult to play. So for this for this slash chord, we're gonna switch our fingers up just a little bit. So take your D pattern here, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna leave your ring finger where it's at right here. You're gonna add your pinky to the same fret on the 1st string, and then you're gonna take your middle finger, you're going to place it on the 3rd string on the 2nd fret. So you should have these 3 notes. Then you're gonna take your index finger, and it's gonna go all the way across, and it's gonna be here. Now, like I said, if you know your open chord note or your open string notes, you'll know that this string right here is an E, and you know that if you go a half step up from E, you go to F, and then a half step from F is F sharp. So F sharp is your root note, obviously, because it's on the right side of the slash equation, or chord, and so that's going to be your root note, but you're still playing a D. This is actually, I believe, a D suspended 4, but it still sounds pretty good. It's actually harder to play a D over F sharp playing the same pattern that you would for a D, because you would have to play that pattern with your last 3 fingers instead of your 3 stronger ones. You would have to basically move your fingering. If you want to do that, that's fine. But if you want just a simpler way to start with, take this pattern that I showed you, and then just add your index finger here to the 2nd fret on the 6th string, and it should sound just like this. Alright guys, well that is it for this video. If you want a video on any particular chords to be explained, or if you maybe want to give some feedback on this one, on how I explained this one, maybe how I could explain things better, please let me know. Other than that, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys learned something and got something from it, and I will be seeing you guys in some future videos. Have a good one.